Yeah. All right, what's up? Monday in Chicago. Nice day outside. You know, yesterday was a nice day. The weather wound up being way nicer than I thought it was going to be. What says you on a Monday with everything that's going on in the world, being black and living in America? It ain't easy, but somebody got to do it. You doing it, I'm doing it, we're doing it, and we're going to do it. And we're going to do it together and survive and make it happen. And it's going to happen with Black Power and Black Unity and Black Togetherness. You gotta be watching on Facebook Live so you can see the visuals that I'm giving you with this commentary, this exclusive commentary. I feel like what movie was that? She's gotta have it. Do the Right Thing. Remember the brother that died, Radio Raheem, when he put his fist up to the camera and was like this, and then he used the other fist. He had his little rings on or whatever. That's what I'm doing right now. Black Power, Black Unity, and Black Togetherness. In a world that's working against you, my brothers and sisters, that unity is more important today than it's ever been. How you doing, Chicago? We got a good show for you today. A lot to talk about. Of course, as there always is in the news, when you live in Chicago and you have nice weather over the weekend like we did on Sunday, that can kind of create some problems in the streets. What are we seeing in the streets in terms of violence? I don't want to really get into that too much. Because we know the violence numbers are down in the city of Chicago, and we need to kind of celebrate the numbers that we have and make them make sense for what we're trying to do. Oh, that doesn't look good. My dishes all in the sink. But anyway, it is what it is. Compare Chicago to the rest of the world, the rest of the country, and where you have Black Power. Here's an interesting thing to talk about. Is last week we saw what happened with the Voting Rights Act and this consistent and steady, I don't even want to say it's a drip, because this attack on Black culture, Black power, Black unity, Black political power. I mean, how do you attack Black political power? Well, you go right at the Black voter. Take him out of the game. You have no political power, and that's exactly what we saw happen over the course of last week, and something that has been brewing and being worked on even before last week. You know, we talked about this Project 2025 and the impact that it's having on Black America and why. The reason why, the clear reason why, is because of this administration, the president, and the people that are around him. And there are people around President Trump, believe it or not, that are worse than President Trump. To a large degree, Trump is just there. Trump is just the actual physical embodiment and tool that's being utilized to put forward Project 2025 and create all of these obstacles for Black success. So then when we see Black success and we have it in the spaces that we have it in, we have to celebrate it, y'all. So that's all I say, and I say that on a consistent basis. But we'll talk about that. There's some entertainment stuff to talk about. You know what? I was watching this special last night on CNN about the lady who has been considered the fashionista, most important person in the fashion industry in the world for the most part on CNN. And she is the inspiration behind, I guess, The Devil Wears Prada, which is the movie of this weekend, even though the Michael Jackson biopic did great numbers again this weekend and is on its way to paying for itself over and over and over again, which is exactly what studios want, of course, to have this success. So we'll talk about that and some other stuff going on in the entertainment industry. The Met Gala is going on tonight, I believe it is. Yet some high-profile people aren't going to be there. They don't want to be in the room. What's the why behind that? We'll talk about that. I'll try to see if I can get Tyra Martin to come on with us and tell us what's happening in that fashion world realm there. Serena Williams, too, is part of the gala, though. So she is going to be there, definitely, because I think she's one of the chairs this year. So, maybe this story, I know I saw Billy Porter and some other important people who would normally be at the Met Gala. They live for the Met Gala that aren't going to be there. So that's interesting to even think about and talk about. We'll talk about that on the show. And of course, everything else is going on. We can talk about what's happening in Iran, in the Hormuz Strait, and how this is impacting your day-to-day life if you want. I think you recognize it and know it and see it at the gas pump. We don't know how long this is going to last. Gas prices are what they are. They're going up, no question about it. There's chaos in the Strait of Hormuz. What does that mean? President Trump is looking for an off-ramp. He's at the same time going to talk tough and try to appear to be this, super alpha male that he always pretends to be, even though he's being led around by a collar and a leash by Benjamin Netanyahu, as we see our commitment to that area with more enforcements and reinforcements going to the Middle East at a cost of $1 billion a day, some people have estimated. The Pentagon hasn't been straightforward and honest about how much this war is costing, but of course, there are some analysts out there that know how much things cost, and they've been placing the price of this war so far upwards of $30 billion and closer to $50 billion. The Trump administration, what did the Pentagon try to say, or the Department of War, whatever it was, they came out and had a number that was in the 20s, like 25 billion. But even let's take their number. Let's say $25 billion. All right, I'll take your number. $25 billion. What could you do with $25 billion in Black America? What can you do with $25 billion in Brown America? What could you do with $25 billion to help both Black and Brown America and everybody else that's working class or poor in this country, or struggles to go from paycheck to paycheck, or wondering how they are going to pay for gas or their apartment, rent's going up, food's going up, everything that's going up. Affordability is a big issue in America right now for a lot of people. For some people, it's not, right? For some people, it's not. But for a lot of people, it is. And what is this president and this administration doing to address that? You want to know? You want me to tell you? Absolutely nothing. President Trump is doing everything to address his bottom line, his friends' bottom line, the people that are in his inner circle's bottom line and their dollar count, and not yours. And that's just the reality of it, man. We have possibly the worst president in the history of the United States. We have definitely the most arrogant, and I don't, obviously I've only lived for about 10 presidents, I guess. Not even. Yeah, well, what are we at? 47? Yeah. I think I was born into president number 35. And now we're at 47. And so I guess I've survived 12 presidents, United States presidents. So I can't speak to all 47, but is anybody more of a narcissist than this guy? Democrats are fighting him as much as they can. One of the reasons they're fighting him on the White House ballroom, which he was just going to do without congressional approval, which are in the rules. You have to do that if you're going to change the White House. You just don't do that without some type of oversight and permission. This is a president that doesn't want to operate on any level of permission to do anything. And I understand why, because he's a business. He's used to being the president of Trump Industries and not being second guessed and not having anybody question what he is doing. All right, so we'll get into all that and a lot more on the show. When we return, though, guys, we're going to talk about prosperity. Building Futures is committed to empowering youth and families in South Cook County. We'll find out all about that through workforce training and more. Stephanie Humphrey Benson is the founder and CEO, is going to join us when we return on the Matt McGill Show. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. It's the Matt McGill Show. Get up on it, everybody.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
This is Rufus Williams, and I've got something special for you. I am proud to announce that we're launching the Rufus Williams Travel Club in conjunction with Advantage International. Our first trip, we're staying in the United States and heading to one of the most stunning destinations for culture to cuisine. Join us October 8th through 12th as we explore the charm, the beauty, and the history of Charleston, South Carolina. This isn't your typical getaway. We're walking through history and standing where our stories began. From the roots of Gullah Geechee culture to the International African American Museum, from cobblestone streets to waterfront views. This is more than a trip. It's a cultural vibe. To find out more, visit WVON.com and click the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner. And keep listening for more details. The Rufus Williams Travel Club will turn curiosity into understanding, one destination at a time. We are WVON.
Primary care that's completely you. OSF Complete Care 55 Plus is personalized primary care for adults 55 and older living with ongoing health conditions. Now accepting patients in Evergreen Park. OSFhealthcare.org/CC55.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Nothing but love on WVON, right? Nothing but love. That's all we have. Prosperity is showing nothing but love. Building Futures is committed to empowering youth and families in South Cook County. Our guest with Prosperity is here, Stephanie Humphrey Benison. Welcome to WVON, founder and CEO. Tell us all about Prosperity. Stephanie, are you there? Stephanie's not there. All right. I'll tell you all about Prosperity. They've got something coming up this Saturday, May 9th. They're holding a ribbon cutting for New Workforce Development and Trades Training Center. So that is going to be happening at 1 p.m. at 1133 West 127th Street in Cal Park. You know, we talk about workforce development. And that's a term that you hear a lot of. right? What does that mean? As we talk about on this show, as we talk about how we're changing our community, what we're doing in terms of education, workforce development is important. We've got so many different parts of our community that need workforce development. And young people who are coming out of high school, some of them aren't graduating and they need to be redirected. We need organizations out here in our community more than any other community. We need organizations out here that are helping with that. Obviously, government can't do it all, but what government can help do is fund and create funding for these programs, right? So when, again, have this conversation about the Democratic Party and what does the Democratic Party do? Well, the Democratic Party does a lot. We had a brother on last week. We were talking about substance use and substance abuse. I know they don't use that term anymore, but basically, you know what I'm talking about. Our community is hurt by substance abuse more than any other community. And, this brother that came on the show last week, his organization, and he could not stop praising the Democratic Party and Governor Pritzker, of all people, the person that I like to go in on. I enjoy going in on Governor Pritzker, man. He was hurting me when he started praising him. So, I think she is. Stephanie was trying to do the live stream. Was she? Okay. I don't think we have her up. All right, but we'll get back to her though when she comes up. She'll come on the show. But we'll talk about prosperity in due course. How about that? We need to be talking about prosperity in Black America and in Black Chicago and what that looks like and how you're connected to that prosperity, right? My brothers and sisters, how we going to get prosperity coming out of our community? You tell me. We've got the tools in place. We've got all the tools in the cabinet. That's one thing as we talk about our community, guys. This is one thing that I really and truly want us to think about. What else do we need to succeed? We've got political power. We've got population. Our population is spreading a little bit. Our population may not be growing as much as other communities' populations. Maybe not as growing, not as swiftly and fast as the brown community. But white America is not experiencing population growth like the brown community either. So we need to understand, where we're fitting in. How do we utilize the power that we have? We got political power. We have academic power, education. We have buying power. We have buying power more than most communities. We spend money most in most communities. How are we utilizing that, if anything? How do we take our dollars and make sense out of it? Are we supporting Black-owned businesses, which we know that's all the mission of this radio station? We bring you Black-owned businesses on a regular basis to talk about what they are doing and they are not doing. 591-1690. Let's go. I see everybody out on Facebook. All right, so everybody do this right now because I have not been getting any shares at all on Facebook Live. Please, everybody, share the show right now because I keep forgetting to tell people to share the show. Share right now. Rodney Ware, share. Regina, Black Soul Sister Echoes, share. Please. Mike Burries, share for me. Thalia Cooks, please share for me. Alma McIntosh, share for me, my sister Alma. Thalia, I said Thalia already. Let's see. All right, and Candy Bennett, please share for me right now. I don't know why I'm not getting shares, but something's changing on Facebook because I used to get a gazillion shares. But I used to promote it and share myself. So I think I'm being negligent in a lot of this. It's important. Thank you, Sabrina. Sabrina Hall Blandon just shared, and I appreciate that. MC Robinson shared for me. Thank you very much. And let's get the word out on Black Talk Radio in America on this Monday, right? Where we see what happened in Louisiana. I mean, you just think about what has happened to Black America over the last several weeks. Everybody and their mama every Black person in this country should be listening to WVON. Just think about what has happened. the last week's Supreme Court ruling. All right, we see what the state legislators did down in Louisiana, right, to our brother Duncan down there, and basically overturning a Democratic election. This brother was elected to be the clerk of the court down there, of the criminal court down there, and the state legislators they eliminated the job. They eliminated the position because they did not want that brother to hold that position. That's the America we're living in right now. So wait a minute. Here's the conversation that's going on. As a result, you have people down in Orleans Parish in New Orleans, that are saying, do not come to the Essence Festival this year. They say the state makes a ton of money off of the Essence Fest. Probably more money off of the Essence Fest than any individual event that they have in Louisiana. And it's black people that are coming down there spending money like crazy. Now, I would hate to suggest that a boycott of the Essence Fest is necessary, but Essence isn't black owned anymore. But I don't black people benefit from the Essence Fest. I'm sure if we have this conversation in more detail, we would realize that black people are benefiting from black-owned businesses, vendors, black hair care products, black celebrities. But is it worth the boycott or a protest or not going to Essence Fest to punish the state legislators down in Louisiana for doing what they just did? And, we may need to get somebody on from New Orleans and see what impact, because I would imagine there are a lot of businesses that benefit from Essence Fest, and I'm assuming a lot of those businesses are black-owned businesses in New Orleans. But here's the question. Some of those people may be like, so what? They may be more upset at what their state government just did, and they may welcome a boycott. We sat up here and we boycotted Target. We know that Target isn't a lone wolf out here. What about, how do you boycott a state legislative group? You make the state hurt. Are you willing to not go to Essence? I haven't been to Essence Fest. I hear it's amazing. I'm not interested in going to New Orleans necessarily in July when it's hot down there, but hey, they pull it off. Essence Fest should come to Chicago and help this black mayor. Let's bring that money to Chicago. Let's do our own Essence Fest up here. What you think about that? And I suggested this years ago. I said Essence Fest would be better off coming to Chicago than being in New Orleans. 591-1690. Phone lines are open. Don't go anywhere. Annette has WVON News coming up right now.
Sunny, breezy, and warm as temperatures climb near 80. Good afternoon. I'm Annette Flurnoy, and here's what's happening. Weather Thompson News. Summer-like conditions are in the forecast today for our area. The National Weather Service says the high will be near 80. Temperatures will cool into the 50s, though, for the rest of the week. A cold front and some scattered storms are expected tonight and will push the warm air out and bring chillier temperatures in for the remainder of the week. Well, city and community leaders as well as Southside residents rallied outside Walgreens at 86 and Cottage Grove today to speak out against its possible closure. Chicago Alderman Will Hall of the 6th Ward is sounding the alarm. On the WVON Midday Show Friday, Alderman Hall said that the company's decision to close will leave thousands of Southside residents without medications, especially seniors with chronic health problems. He calls the closings corporate abandonment.
Walgreens told me a little over a year ago that we're fine. Our trajectory is one that they're not concerned about as it pertains to revenue. So the idea that this was a shoplifting situation, that's a lie, as it was told to me. There was an issue around foot traffic. That's not true. Still one of the busiest. So that's a lie. What this is a lack of empathy, respect, and dignity from corporate leadership.
After already packing up and shutting down 5 Southside Walgreens locations, the company could close the 86th Sin Cottage Grove location as early as a month from today, June 4th. Well, the abrupt shutdown of Spirit Airlines has left O'Hare travelers scrambling for new flights. Perry Williams has more.
The discount flyer ran out of cash and failed to secure a $500 million federal bailout, not to mention facing surging fuel prices. This air passenger at O'Hare Airport was able to rebook a different airline that had a discount fare.
I jumped on United's website, and they actually had a deal for Spirit flyers that capped their costs.
United says they're capping fares for Spirit travelers for the next 2 weeks. Southwest, JetBlue, and Delta are offering reduced fares for Spirit flyers. I'm Perry Williams.
More than 100 union workers at Brookfield Zoo, Chicago are on strike. Employees with Teamsters Local 727 walked off the job this morning after contract negotiations broke down. The union accuses management of unfair labor practices and said that they have had disputes over health care coverage as well. Zoo officials say animal care and wellness has not stopped and that the animals are being well taken care of. They added that the zoo will remain open during the strike. Well, the first ever Chicago HBCU Baseball Classic happened over the weekend at Wrigley Field. While Prairie View and Alabama A&E met on the field for the first this kind of competition at Wrigley, it brought unity into the stands. The first HBCU Baseball Classic at Wrigley was played on the very same day, May 2nd, in 1920, when the first Negro Leagues baseball game was held with the Chicago team, the Chicago American Giants. And after 75 years in business, the historic Skyway Lanes, Chicago's last Black-owned bowling alley, has closed its doors forever. The South Side says goodbye to an era as Skyway Lane, Chicago, shut down. The historic bowling alley shut down even after a fundraiser to save it drew over $25,000 in donations. The second-generation business was a fixture to the far South Side at 99th and Torrance since the 1950s. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. WVON News Time, 12:35.
Hey, Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
This is Kamini Khan, certified financial planner professional. For the past year, I've been on a mission to change lives and build wealth in our community. Together, we're changing the paradigm. This year, I'm back with a new series, Wealth Strategies, Money Talks. Join me every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on the Rufus Williams Show as we have thoughtful discussions around building wealth in our community. We'll discuss topics like investing, savings, tax strategies, retirement, and all things money. Yes, that's Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., so set those alarms. Also, be sure to check out the podcast at WVONWealthShow.com.
Komini Khan is a certified financial planner professional with Optimal Planning Partners in alliance with Equitable Advisors, LLC member SIPC in Oak Brook, Illinois. For more information, please call 630-575-5046.
It's the morning show.
When you start to get into this conversation about slavery, we're talking about slavery in the United States of America. When we talk about what's at the Smithsonian, this is not a reach across the world. This is about what took place here in the United States of America. And slavery followed by Jim Crow, followed by and continuing through this whole issue of white supremacy is real.
It's the morning show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
It's too cold for me. I'm not trying to be your highness, cause that minus is too low to see. Yeah. Hey.
All right, I'm back at 591-1690. You know, I heard, I think I heard during a Nets news break there that she was talking about about Walgreens closing down. I know that's a big story. Is it big? Are we making it bigger than it needs to be? What is the obligation and responsibility of a retailer like Walgreens to the community? Because I'm gonna tell you, I've heard both sides of this story, and I've heard it right here on WVON. People talk about, you know, what Walgreens is in the business of making money, right? And I get the fact that, you know, they sell medicine, and their prescription business is big. Well, it creates more opportunity for CVS, it seems like, to me. Walgreens doesn't want to be on the south side or west side of wherever else in the city of Chicago. That's on them, guys. I think to me, it's just my opinion. We just got to live with it. That's that's their decision. I felt the same way when Target closed. I mean, hey, look, businesses close down, they close down. I mean, before Target came to our communities, what were we doing? See, Walgreens is a different question because Walgreens has been part of our community for a very long time. There's no question about that. Walgreens has been serving Chicago. I mean, this is Walgreens' home turf right here, Chicago. So, I mean, I get it. I understand why people are upset. But if they don't want to be in your community, they don't want to be in your community, right? Maybe what we should be doing is getting people from Walgreens on. I don't know that they will come on and talk about why they're closing, but I'm sure there are problems. Here's what I would say to you guys. If Walgreens was making money, they would not be leaving. And I think you and I know that. And I think we need to focus on what's the why behind them closing, because they're not closing because they don't want to be in the neighborhood. They're closing. They're not closing because we're black, right? They're closing because they're losing money. That's why they're closing. Closing because they're losing money. And look, look, I've got my issues with Walgreens over the years. I don't know that they've spent a dime with WVON, which is embarrassing. CVS needs to be spending dimes with us. Target should have been spending, if anything, Target need to be spending dimes with us right now more than they ever have. When we were located on 87th Street, we were right down the street from Target, and they weren't spending money with us. See, the game is played with these with ad agencies, guys. Everybody's got an ad agency, right? So the ad agency does something called a media buy. The media buyer decides where they're going to spend their clients' money. How do we get them to respect black media? Target was a football field away from WVON when we were on 87th Street. Maybe longer, maybe 2 football fields, maybe 3. I don't know. But you get the gist, what I'm talking about. Didn't spend a dime with us. We talked to Target. There are companies in our community, Athletico, DaVita Dialysis. You know how many black people go and are getting their damn kidneys going through dialysis? How dare these companies not spend money with black media? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Maybe that's where we need to be boycotting. You know? What's the power of the people if we can't bring people to accountability? We want to focus on the politicians. I don't have a problem with us focusing on politicians. But we need to be focusing on the entities around politics that makes political life easier. 591-1690. Number to call. I mean, this, I just want to have real conversations, man, about life, y'all. Doesn't matter to me. Lee, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Hey, good afternoon, Matt. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, listen, I agree with you. And I've been thinking about that. I remember on the West Side, right, there was a Walgreens on Holman and Roosevelt. And, man, let me just ask you, how long should a business stay in a community that doesn't progress, right? How long? There's one over on 47th and Halsted. I know of a lot of Walgreens, and Walgreens has been in our community for many years. And in some spots, the community has almost regressed, right? Because meaning no infrastructure has come in, no businesses have come in because of the crime. People have moved. And I'm with you. I think that African Americans, we have to start pivoting our thought and the way we spend our money and look at ourselves and look at our communities and understand that this is a issue that's moving throughout a lot of businesses. Because when you just hear about it and see it, man, no business wants to spend 20 to 30% of its revenue on security. And in our communities, it's horrendous. I went into Walgreens, Matt, and I am not lying to you. Everything was locked up.
Everything was locked up, man. Brother, it's
man. When I tell you from the front door, almost all the way through, everything had to be behind glass. Everything. Yeah. And so when people try to make it seem like it's not, and I'm going to give you one last instance of how this works. If you remember in 2000 with the riots, remember now we had Walmart on 83rd, and then we had the Walmart on 103rd and Doty. Now the difference is the manager at the Walmart on 103rd and Doty reached out to the alderman. I think it was Bill, and then Bill reached out to the commander of the police district, and then the police stopped everybody from coming up on 115th and 103rd, and they could not get to that Walmart. That Walmart is still open to this day. The 83rd and Stewart took a serious hit, right? Walmart reopened, and then said, no, this just ain't worth it. I'm out of here. So you hitting the nail on the head, man. And to your question about how we fix this, I'm strongly believing, man, like the guy Art who calls, we have got to go back to the family. We have lost that, man. 70% of African-American children are in single-headed households. We have got to fight back on that, man, because that is hurting us. This out of wedlock children, the refusal to settle down with the woman who you have children with, it's crippling us because children are growing up without that two-parent balance in their lives. So I'm glad you touched on this, man. Thanks for taking my call and have a great one.
Yep, good call, brother. I appreciate it very much at 591-1690. Let's go. Here's the reality. If these stores are making money, they're not leaving. They're in business to make money, y'all. They're not in business. They're not in business to have social impact. They're not in business to do anything else but make money, man. I mean, they'll play the game and be good neighbor and, get involved with community, per the alderman, I'm sure, they'll do some stuff like that. But Walgreens, Target, Walmart are in business to buy something for $1 and to sell it for $2. That's the reason why they come to your community, is to bring you, hey, look, we're going to bring you products that you buy on a normal basis, save you the trip from having to go downtown, the central business market, and we're going to let you purchase right in your neighborhood, right? But we got to make money on it, man. Walgreens is absolutely embarrassing, man, to walk in there and see everything locked up. We got one right over on 75th and State Street. Everybody knows that one. That used to be the liquor store. That, man, let me tell you, that liquor counter over there at Walgreens on 75th and State used to be the business, brother, back in the day. I walked in there because I don't go to Walgreens that often, but when I did walk in there, man, I was, what the hell? Everything's locked up. You know how much money it costs Walgreens to have to buy those little cubes that they're locking stuff up in? And then to come up with a key system or whatever they have to come up with to lock products up, deodorant and stuff like that. I walked out, man, because I'm I got to move fast, man. I'm walking in to grab some deodorant and walk right out. I'm not waiting around for somebody to open up a damn cube for me to get the deodorant out, hit this buzzer, and somebody will come and help you and assist you. That says less about Walgreens and more about us. The hell? Carol, hold on. Charles, hold on. Your call, and I've got 4 phone lines open at 591-1690. Being black in America is a bitch, y'all. You tell me about it. But I tell you what, America ain't playing around with y'all. We better figure this out quick. 591-1690.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
That cannabis charge from years ago, it could still be costing you jobs, housing, and opportunities you don't even know you're missing. But there's a way out. New Leaf, Illinois is a free state-funded program helping people clear old cannabis and other eligible records. You've already paid the price. Don't let your old record cost you even more. Call 872-NEW-LEAF or visit newleafillinois.org today. New Leaf, Illinois, it's your fresh start.
South Chicago isn't just a neighborhood, it's a community full of promise. That's why Fifth Third Bank is investing in its future through our neighborhood program. We're working alongside local leaders, small businesses, and residents to create jobs, expand home ownership, and build inclusive infrastructure. Because when South Chicago thrives, we all thrive. This is Banking a Fifth Third Better. Learn more about our community investments at 53.com. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Smart conversations with smart people makes us smarter. And that's exactly what you get on Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams. This isn't surface level talk. This is where authors become experts, where books become blueprints, and where ideas are challenged, not just discussed. From Colin Woodard on Nations Apart, to Gloria J. Brown Marshall breaking down the history of protests in America, to Gary Tyler sharing a story of resilience and redemption and stitching free. These are not interviews. These are conversations that matter, because every book has a story and every story has a deeper meaning. Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams on Bond TV. You can catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, and VON.TV.
It's clear that kidney disease is taking its toll on us by the number of dialysis centers in our neighborhoods. If you have kidney disease, know your treatment options and the benefits of home dialysis and transplantation. Visit blackcare.com. That's BLACKKARE.com. This health and wellness message is brought to you by the South Suburban Chicago chapter of the Links Incorporated and powered by Vantive. Consider giving the gift of life by becoming a donor today.
Ready to fire up your taste buds, Chicago? Black-owned Koda Hibachi serves fresh, authentic hibachi and sushi, served with a smile. Grab takeout, order delivery, or dine in casual style. No flaming show, just flavor that steals the spotlight. And hey, tell them WVON is your favorite radio station and get 10% off your order. Visit them at 258 West 31st Street. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 8, Friday and Saturday till 9, Sundays till 7. And don't forget, tell them WVON is your favorite radio station and get 10% off your order. Koda Hibachi, where flavor meets culture.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Bond TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Bond TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
To keep them strong, moving in the right direction, living just enough for the city. It's hard to work some days for 14 hours, and you can bet he barely makes $1. His mother goes scrub the floors for many, and you best believe she hardly gets a penny. Living just enough.
Come on now. I know you guys have seen the story about Rudy Giuliani being hospitalized in critical condition with pneumonia. When you get his age, of course, you know, pneumonia will take you out at a young age. So, you know, when you're up there in age, it will take you out as well. So we'll be watching that story to see what happens. But what a fall from grace for somebody who was considered an American hero during the 9/11 crisis when Rudy Giuliani was mayor of the city of New York, and the entire country looked at him and toward him, and his strength and leadership during that period of time was admirable. It didn't matter if you were a Democrat or a Republican. And for him to go from there to sucking up to Donald Trump was like, you know, being a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model one day, and then you're a whore on the whole strip somewhere in America. And it's like, what happened to you, girl? You were on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Now you're out here turning tricks on the West Side, or what happened to you, right? That's Rudy Giuliani, man. He went from being a superstar, America's mayor, to a sleazebag nut rider for Donald Trump. That's sad, man. You know, thinking Donald Trump was going to lead you down the path of success. What? Donald Trump, you will use, abuse you, chew you up, spit you out, throw you out the window, Rudy Giuliani, and that's exactly what he did. Giuliani running around here filing lawsuits trying to say the 2020 election was all that bull crap. He was, get the hell out of here. Phone calls. Let's go to Carol. Carol, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just read this morning that Calvin Duncan will be able to take his seat as clerk in Louisiana. A federal judge ruled this morning that they could not change the election after the election. They had to respect the election.
I know. I'm just saying I'm saying, look at what happened, and that's good news. I did see that a story, a clip on that. I didn't read it.
Yeah, that was
Calvin. That is going to more than likely be riding its way through court, is my guess. Louisiana.
No, he had to take his seat because the first you could not change the job, and that you not after the election.
I would. So what I am guessing is that the state will probably challenge that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's who the state was doing. The governor was the one that did it.
Yeah. Oh, the governor was the one that said what?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But he can take the seat as of today.
Well, when we had the brother on the show last week or the week before, and he said what they did by swearing him in was going to prevent the governor from being able to remove him from that seat. So maybe that did work. Maybe that maneuver did work though, sister. So maybe and if it did, props to the the Civil Liberties Union down there in Louisiana for putting that out there. I'm sure it was the legal arm that came to say, hey, look, let's do this. Let's try doing this, swearing him in. And he was sworn in. I know
the rule is here. You cannot eliminate a seat after election.
Well, we know that, but you don't.
Okay, we through with that. Now I'm telling you, heard you talking about Walgreens and dialysis. The reason why we got so many dialysis in the black community is because of the blood pressure medicine that they giving all these black folks. You don't see no other community they got on everywhere.
Wait. You're saying the blood? Well, hold on. I'm sorry, Carol, and I'm sorry, and I apologize for kind of jumping you a little bit here. Are you saying the blood pressure medicine is causing kidney damage?
Medicine. Yes, I have gotten medicine that I read that I refused to take when I read the side effects, and one of them did not work well in black people. And I called the pharmacy. They say next time you get a prescription, you have your doctor send you 2 pills somewhere so you can read the prescription. And the black doctor was the one who gave me the prescription.
So okay, and only because I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
What I'm saying is,
okay,
you have no since black people been on blood. They don't been putting black people on blood pressure machine of pills for the last 20, 30 years.
Okay.
Everybody go to the doctor. They got high blood. They give you a pill. They don't tell you what to eat or try to do something different.
Well, I don't know about that. The doctor's not.
It tells you what it can do.
But Carol, the doctor will tell you to change your lifestyle. I will admit that they are quick.
Carol, you must remember the doctor only have so many hours of medicine.
I know.
And you must remember the pharmaceutical companies tell the doctor what to give you.
Okay. All right. Good call, Carol. Good call. I'm out of time. 12:59 on WVON 591-1690. The 1 o'clock hour is coming up next. I'll try to take some more of your phone. I got some phone calls. Hold on. Let me see who's on deck here at 591-1690. I've got Charles. Hold on. Daryl and Karen. And I've got 3 or 4 lines open at 591-1690. You're listening to The Matt McGill Show.
Happy Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Historic Southside business closes, making end of an era. Summer-like weather expected today in the Chicago area. Rudy Giuliani hospitalized with pneumonia. And SCOTUS restores abortion pill mail order access. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, WVON 1690 AM, Berwyn, Chicago.
VIN News Now. U.S. Central Command is denying reports of a missile strike on a Navy ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Here's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
In the U.S., we are just firing if fired upon. We are not the provocateurs here. But if the Iranians want to escalate here, we are willing to escalate.
Iranian state media claimed an attack, but the U.S. says it never happened. Former Vice President Kamala Harris has endorsed Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass in her bid for re-election. Harris praised Bass's leadership on public safety and homelessness, giving Bass a major boost ahead of a closely watched mayoral race. And the Orlando Magic have fired head coach Jamal Mosley after 5 seasons. The move comes after a Game 7 playoff loss to the Pistons. Mosley led Orlando to 3 straight playoff appearances, and team president Jeff Weltman will now lead the coaching search. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Doug Davis.
All right. Thanks and happy Monday. Fair Fight founder Stacey Abrams is sounding the alarm over what she sees as a fast-moving Republican effort to redraw congressional maps to dismantle Black representation and the Democratic Party, which is making major gains headed toward the midterm elections. She spoke about it all on MS Now over the weekend.
Our power was working. We had laws across this country that allowed Black and brown citizens to be fully realized as members of this society. We were on the way to a multiracial, pluralistic democracy.
Abrams went on to say that Republicans are angry about that.
And what they understand that we sometimes forget is that power is never completely won or lost. It is a tug of war, and we were tugging too hard. And that is why we've seen this vicious and fast, lightning fast, stripping of our power, but they've been at it for years.
She points to the Supreme Court's Louisiana ruling as a spark for this new wave of map changes. Alabama, Tennessee, and South Carolina, all red states, are aiming to redraw congressional maps in an effort to keep power in the House and Senate. Meanwhile, South Carolina's lieutenant governor is standing firm as a dispute with the state's only public HBCU escalates. South Carolina Governor Pamela Yvette says she's not backing down after being uninvited to speak at South Carolina State University's May 8th commencement ceremony. The school's president dialed back the invite, citing safety concerns after students protested that her extreme right-wing political views don't reflect SC State's values. Yvette, who's running for governor, held a virtual call with her staff to talk about it.
What's happening there is what we've seen happen across the country. It's college professors indoctrinating students with everything but the fact. And, trying to silence voices or alternate opinions on campuses is just not right. It's a threat to our democracy. And, we saw this with Charlie Kirk.
Before the decision to uninvite Yvette, she had publicly referred to the student protesters as a woke mob. She says she will not apologize for that comment and continues to call for further dialogue. Since the pullback, 9 Republican representatives are now calling for the university's funding to be pulled from the next draft of the state budget. And finally, former New England Patriots star receiver, African-American Stephon Diggs, is headed to trial on assault charges connected to an incident at his home. Diggs denies the charges and says the accusations are not supported by the facts. Prosecutors say the issue is over Diggs and his private chef over money she says is owed to her. The chef told prosecutors Diggs tried to choke her. Stay connected and subscribe and follow BIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Doug Davis for the Black Information Network. Have a great Monday. Stay safe out there. Keep your head on the swivel. If you see something, say something.
Black women are more likely to die from breast cancer when it's caught late. Schedule your mammogram, know your body, and don't ignore the signs. Early detection saves lives.
Your health, our community, we're WVON.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
Smart conversations with smart people makes us smarter. And that's exactly what you get on Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams. This isn't surface level talk. This is where authors become experts, where books become blueprints, and where ideas are challenged, not just discussed. From Colin Woodard on Nations Apart, to Gloria J. Brown Marshall breaking down the history of protests in America, to Gary Tyler sharing a story of resilience and redemption in Stitching Freedom. These are not interviews. These are conversations that matter, because every book has a story and every story has a deeper meaning. Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams on Bond TV. You can catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, and VON.TV.
WVON is proud to be an official radio partner for the Chicago Blues Festival, June 4th through the 7th at Millennium Park. We're bringing generations together, one blues riff at a time.
We gon' get your wang dang through the low night
WVON, honoring 63 years and building what's next. Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to. WVON, Berlin, Chicago. It's Matt McGill on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
Amused by all the things you say that you do. You're much concerned but not involved with decisions that are made by you. But we are sick and tired of hearing this song, telling how you are gonna change right from wrong. Cause if you really want to hear our views, you haven't done nothing.
Hey, we're back. Hey, you guys know Ruru is hitting the road. He's got the Rufus Williams Travel Club in action in partnership with Advantage International. Man, this is such a good idea, man. Rufus, putting these trips together, historical landmarks, going to places that are important and have historical significance to Black America, bringing a WVON family along to make it a fun trip. A lot of people out there, you might be retired or you might not even be retired. You might just want to plan a trip to go somewhere like South Carolina. Man, dude, this is an amazing trip. Space is limited, so I advise you guys to go to WVON.com, click the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and get all the details. Charleston, South Carolina, man, one of the historic cities of this country. Beautiful South Carolina. I mean, just amazing scenery, landscape, a lot of history as far as Black America is concerned. Not all of it good, right? Plantations down there, I'm sure, that are part of the purpose of this cultural experience and the roots of the Gullah Geechee heritage. Wow. That's enough. We're going to go to the International African American Museum. Plus the food down there. You in South Carolina, you're going to be getting that food down there. Woo. That's home of grits for sure. So you're talking shrimp and grits and everything else that's so much a part of our culture. Go to WVON.com, get all the details, click the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, get on the trip. I told Rufus I want to come with him so I can broadcast the show from down there. I won't be able to go on the little field trips, but I just want to go to South Carolina. I want to go to Charleston. There's a movie called Prince of Tides with Barbara Streisand directed. And they filmed it in the South Carolina area, in the Charleston area, and it just looked great. Charleston also known for having some of the best restaurants in the country, y'all. So don't sleep on that. It's going to be a great experience. You be there, as Brother Wayne Fields would say. All right, here's the latest as of 1 hour ago on our brother Calvin Duncan. They say just hours after a federal judge halted the new state law, and this was the state law that the governor down there in Louisiana put together to try to eliminate the Orleans Parish Clerk of Criminal Court's office because they wanted to block this brother from taking it. The appellate court down there will allow the measure to take effect. So a federal judge halted the new state law to eliminate, right? So the federal judge said, hold on. The appellate court will allow the measure to take place, all right? So like I said, this is going to end up, I was just saying, Carol, this is going to end up in the courts, and we'll see how far it goes. Where does it go to? The Supreme Court, I guess. I don't know. Who will tell? He was elected with 68% of the vote down there. He showed up for work Monday morning. They're talking about this morning at the Orleans Criminal District Courthouse, the Associated Press reported. But for the time being, an administrative stay from the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals leaves him without a job. So as of now, he is not in that unless there's something that is broken in the last hour that refutes that story. That is where we are. All right. So the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has decided that he cannot take office there and that the state law banning him, the newly put together state law banning him from taking office by the Republican governor down there, Jeff Landry, that many black people, and we've talked to some of the state legislators, others, they have a big problem with Jeff Landry. And that is the catalyst for people saying, don't come to the Essence Fest and support the Essence Fest, because that's where the state depends on that money in a big way. Of course they do. Black people, we spend more money than any other race, y'all. We over-index when it comes to spending, okay? So we go down to New Orleans and clown and put a lot of money into the state coffers down there. And you've got some people down there in Orleans Parish that are saying, don't come. Don't come. and hurt the state and hurt this bigot of a governor who is trying to block this brother from taking office. Charles, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind, brother?
Hello, my brother. Hello. How are you? How are
Black
you?
Power.
Your show and WVON. Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love the people that call in and exchange ideas and talk about different topics. It's a beautiful thing. The Walgreens issue, I'm gonna touch on that real quick. I think that Walgreens is a family out of Canada, as a matter of fact. So it's not an American company.
Right now, it's not. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of the tariffs, it's a multi-issue situation. You got the tariffs that Donald Trump has put on, and you have the crime where you have the Safety Act, where people can steal up to a certain amount of money and not have to worry about being locked up. They can just get out on bond. And the fact that you have these big box stores that with the same thing you can get from Walgreens, you can go in the big box store and get groceries and everything else. So it's a combination of a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
But, and plus I left out the online shopping, people ordering things online.
Oh, yeah, brother. You better believe that.
Right,
that's good. That's good, Charles. That's you are absolutely correct. I'm glad you expanded on that conversation. But I was keeping it simple, right? I said the reason why they're closing is because they're losing money. If they're making money, they ain't going nowhere.
Right. And that land is valuable. You know what I mean? The land is more valuable than the money that's coming in. So it is what it is, but that's how the world is going right now. So just keep doing your thing, brother. Black Power.
Black Power, man. That was such a good comment, though, because what Charles did was expand the conversation. He talked about the tariffs. I didn't think about that, but he's absolutely correct, about that. And people going online and going to the big box stores like Sam's and Costco, where you can buy things, some of the same items in bulk, probably for a cheaper unit price. You see what I'm saying? Because, Walgreens, and this is what they're supposed to do. They're charging you more because they are coming to you. Walgreens is on the corner. I grew up with Walgreens on 47th and King Drive. Legendary Walgreens, right there on 47th and King Drive. Lou Rawls and everybody all the black, let me tell you this, there were more black people famous black people in that Walgreens on 47th and King Drive because they had a little restaurant there. Y'all remember when Walgreens had their little restaurants in there? I want y'all to imagine all of the famous black people that went to the Walgreens on 47th and King Drive because they were performing at the Regal Theater. So they were probably running in there getting food real quick, or if they wanted to spend some extra money, they were going right down the street to Jerry's Palm Tavern. Or it was the Palm Tavern at the time, and then it became Jerry's Palm Tavern. But that's the world we live in. All right. I got Daryl. Daryl, hold on. You and Karen, hold on. You're gonna come on the other side of this break here. It's 1:17 on WVON. 591-1690. Just talking about we were talking about the Walgreens situation. Also, every time we do this show, we talk about being black in America. Essence Fest. Some people are suggesting a boycott. Don't go down there because of the governor of Louisiana and the Republican state legislator run down there that has put together a law to eliminate the criminal clerk office that Calvin Duncan won. We were talking about that. One court said, yes, he can take office. Now the 5th district down there said no. They put a stay on that, so he's without a job as of now. Will this wind up going up to the Supreme Court, where, of course, we know Donald Trump has all of his people lined up there to do what? Insult black people and hurt black people and try to change progress that has been made in this country's history We are in a moment. You're listening to the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. It's DL Hughley.
Tucker Carlson took it to the extreme and apologized to the electorate. I think Tucker knows that an 80-year-old demented man who's in his pants might not be the future anymore. I don't know that it is regret, but I think that he's done something I haven't seen very many people do, which is take the onus on themselves and say they apologize and to see what they could do to make it right.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Catch Reverend Al Sharpton online at WVON.com or on the WVON app. Just click the Al Sharpton banner. Tune in every day at 12 noon for your daily dose. And if you miss it, catch the overnight replay from midnight to 3 a.m. We're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on WVON 1690.
Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
Need a reason to visit Wind Creek Casino and Hotel? Well, here's 2,200 of them. Right now, new players get a welcome package valued at up to $2,200 in rewards, including hotel stays, food credits, and slot-free play. It's a one-of-a-kind offer exclusively for new members. Sign up and play as a rewards member to get yours, only at Wind Creek Casino and Hotel. See player services for details based on first day's losses from $200 up to $2,000. Must be 21 years or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Oh, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, hey, Mr. Postman.
It's a turbulent Tuesday on the Cleopatra Show, and I'm pouring some Southern iced tea for us to sip. Join me for an exclusive interview with the Mark Morial, President and CEO of the National Urban League. This civil rights fierce leader and advocate has sounded the alarm. In fact, he's waving the WB sign in the air, warning brothers and sisters that the United States Postal Service is running out of cash in less than 1 year. Working families, is this your employer? Do you vote by mail, sending packages and cards? Black America, you are the stockholder. And President Morial is warning us that our investment may go belly up. You don't want to be late for class. Tune in Tuesday, only on The Cleopatra Show at 9 a.m.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Get that groove, let it take you higher. Make it move, set this place on fire. Dance with the boogie, get
All right, we're back. 591-1690's number to call. I haven't even looked at any of the local news today, guys. I've been a slug on a Monday. Been looking at more national and international news, I guess, trying to see what's going on in that Strait of Hormuz. But I think you guys might be getting a little bored with that conversation. As you guys know, I have an interest. It's just me. I'm looking at our country and what we're doing in terms of spending money in the strait and not spending money in the United States of America, whether that money's going to Black America or whether it's going to just a general fund to help make America a better place, man. You talk about, the refunds that people are getting because of the tariffs, right? Remember, first Trump told us we were going to get a check in the mail because of the tariffs. Now refunds are being issued to these countries that were being tariffed. But people, whether you're black, white, brown, whatever, in America, people are hurting and trying to figure out how come we, sitting in this country, which is the richest country in the history of the world, how come we're hidden here with financial problems, that people are scrapping from paycheck to paycheck? People are filing for bankruptcy because of health care and a lack of health care. Why is there a lack of health care in the United States of America, the richest country in the history of the world? Yet we can spend billions a day on doing what? What are we doing with Iran? Oh, I get it. Oh, we're fighting for Israel. I get it. Yeah, I get that. That's where we're going with this. 591-1690. And also we're talking about Walgreens, of course. What's the obligation, responsibility of a store like Walgreens? We've been through this with Target and Walmart. And I just heard a clip that Annette played earlier, so I'm assuming either Rufus or Cleopatra was talking about this earlier, but it is something that we did want to discuss on this show. What about it? I mean, is Walgreens obligated to stay in a community because that community lacks access to prescription drugs? Do they have an obligation as a drugstore, right? Because that would really be the area where Walgreens is going to make its money. It's going to be off of prescription drugs, guys. It's going to be off of prescription drugs. That conversation and Essence Fest all thrown in there at the same time. Some people are calling for a boycott of Essence Fest because of the bigot of a governor that's down there. Yeah, you better believe that. Karen, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Hi, Matt. I want to dispel the myth that we say that it's always theft. The Marshalls on 51st and Lake Park is closing right across the street from Kenwood, University of Chicago students. And I asked, I said, why are you all leaving? They'll be gone by May 16th. They said, it is not because of theft. It is because of real estate, the high cost of real estate. Because Ulta closed, Michael's, who was in there, they left. It is not always because of theft. And I have also talked to several managers at Jules Osco. They said, boy, in the white community, those white people go in there and steal that liquor out of those stores, and they wind up going to court. But you don't hear about it, Matt. We just don't hear about it on the other end. So the 51st in Lake Park Marshalls is leaving, and it is not because of theft.
Well, I wouldn't have guessed that Marshalls would, if you telling me that they're leaving, my guess would be because of a lack of business, probably, and real estate, like you said. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me just finish, and I'll let you get back in, sister. Let me just finish the statement. I would make a distinction between a Marshalls that is located in a building where they are leasing space from a landlord and a Walgreens that might be a freestanding Walgreens, right? But nevertheless, I mean, it sounds, I'm not, I think our last caller or one of our callers, Charles, maybe it was, explained that it was a combination of factors, that theft is one, but also the tariffs. And I absolutely would agree with him and say that's the reason. Theft, tariffs, and the cost of products, and people that are choosing to go online and get their prescription drugs or go to Sam's or Costco. I think that combination of factors is probably why Walgreens closed. Now, what I said on the show was that if they're making money, they're not leaving. That was my whole point, is if they're making money, then they're not going to leave. I don't care if they're on the west side, south side, on Madison and Cicero, wherever. If they're making money, they're not going to leave, right? So I think Charles did a good job of explaining why they're probably losing money, and theft is one of several factors that have probably made them decide to close their doors.
Well, but Matt, you're across from a high school. Those kids are in Marshalls all the time. You got the University of Chicago. It's a Whole Foods is downstairs. You're in Hyde Park. Those people shop, and they said it was not. It was a real estate. It was a high cost of real estate.
Well,
and I think we need to not put that out all the time, because sometimes they use that as an excuse. Oh, it's theft, and they're making a ton of money. It's fact. The community, they don't say that, and it happens in other communities big time.
So, hey, Karen,
say that about them.
Karen, if a Walgreens closed in a white neighborhood, and I would say it's because they're not making money. They're not making. And I'm sorry. And what you're saying is you're trying to say, Matt, it's because of real estate. But if they were making money, if they were making enough money, they would gladly pay for the real estate. You see what I'm saying? They would, if the real estate price was high, but if they were making enough money that they could afford the real estate and still show a profit, then that Marshalls on 51st, look, you and I are in agreement. Marshalls on 51st and Lake Park is not closing because of theft. I would, even if you're trying to suggest that it's not, I wouldn't consider that a neighborhood where theft would be a problem anyway. But granted, there are reasons why they are closing. One of the reasons, I'm sure, is that their lease, what they're paying, the developer, the person that owns that building, the landlord, they probably went up on their rent and they're out of here. That combined with the fact that they're not making enough money, they're out of here. Walgreens might have a different metric. I don't know if Walgreens, like let's say 75th and State Street. Does Walgreens own that real estate? Because they're not leasing from a landlord. That's a freestanding Walgreens, right? So Walgreens may own the land. Maybe the developer owns the land. I don't know. But whatever their real estate deal is over there, it's their deal. But if they were making enough money, or wait a minute, what Walgreens is closing? 87 and Cottage? If they were making enough money, they would stay open. So they're not making enough money to keep the lights on and the doors open. Whether it's theft or not, fine, I hear you. Maybe it's not theft. I was saying my focus was if they were making money, they would not be leaving.
But Matt, when they close in the white neighborhood, do the white people say it's theft?
No, I'm saying I'm sure the white people would say what I'm saying. They're not making money.
But never. But we always say theft in our neighborhood, and that's not necessarily true.
Well, theft is
a white person. They will never say that about, or Hispanic. They won't say, oh, even though we know it probably, because I know some managers, it closed because of theft, but they will never say that about them. And I think we should be careful of using that all the time when it may not necessarily be.
So, sister, if I don't say it though, that still doesn't mean that it's not a fact or a reality. You know what tells you, I don't have to say it. So forget that I say it. You know what tells you that theft is a problem with Walgreens on the south and west sides of Chicago and downtown? How about that? There's a Walgreens. Hey, check this out, sister. Just so you think I want you to know I'm not picking on black neighborhoods. There's a Walgreens on the corner of Roosevelt and State Street. You walk in there, everything is locked up. So whoever goes in there, black people, white people, Hispanics, whoever go in there, somebody's stealing. And that's a white neighborhood. That's downtown Chicago. What tells you that theft is a problem is the fact when you walk in and everything is locked up. That's what the brother was saying.
But they aren't locked up in the white neighborhoods?
I just pointed to one in a white neighborhood that's locked up on the corner of State and Roosevelt in a white neighborhood.
So they're locking them up everywhere.
Well, they're locking them up everywhere they have theft.
Okay,
That's where they're locking them up.
Okay.
So if they got if you go to Walgreens in Lincoln Park, a sister, Karen, if you go to a Walgreens in Lincoln Park in the whitest of white neighborhoods in Chicago, if you walk in there and you see things locked up, they got a theft problem. They got a theft. What tells you theft is a problem is the fact that everything is locked up.
Well, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy if we keep saying that about our neighborhoods, and sometimes it may not be the case.
Well, so let's do this then, because I see you're being a little sensitive about people, regardless of their race and regardless of where they live. Human beings steal, and if you steal from a business and they lose money, they're going to close. So whether you live in Lincoln Park, Rogers Park, Wicker Park, or if you live in Bronzeville, Auburn Gresham, Chatham, West Garfield Park, no matter what neighborhood you live in, if theft is a problem, then businesses are going to close.
But the whites will never say that in their neighborhood. They will.
So I don't care. White people will never say
violent. They act like it doesn't happen on the north side, and you and I know.
White
really
people are different than
reported the same.
Karen. White people are different than black people, so that's just a real white people will never say that they're racist. So that ain't nothing new. Good call though, my sister. I understand what you're saying, but I'm just theft is a problem everywhere. You're listening to the Matt McGill Show.
Hope you're having a marvelous Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's what's happening in your local and national news. The far south side says goodbye to a historic business and the end of an era. WVON's Annette Flournoy has more.
After 75 years in business, the historic Skyway Lanes, Chicago's last Black-owned bowling alley, has closed for good. The second-generation business was a fixture to the far south side in 99th and Torrance since the 1950s and was a source of family fun as well as bowling league competitions. It also brought business dollars to the community for decades. The historic bowling alley shut down even after a fundraiser to save it drew more than $25,000 in donations. Annette Flournoy, Our News Now, 1690 WVON.
In other news, summer-like weather is in the forecast today for the Chicago area. The National Weather Service says the high will be near 80 degrees. Temperatures will cool into the 50s for the rest of the week. A cold front and some scattered storms are expected tonight. Will push the warm air and bring back some chillier weather for the rest of the week. In other news, Rudy Giuliani is a Florida hospital in critical condition but stable condition. While recovering from pneumonia, his spokesperson Ted Goodman said Giuliani is improving and being closely monitored. As a precaution, the 81-year-old had previously been diagnosed with restrictive airway disease following the September 11 attacks. He initially required mechanical ventilation, but is now breathing on his own. Giuliani fell ill shortly after finishing his talk show in Palm Beach. And mail order access to an abortion pill is being restored by the Supreme Court for now. Scott Carr has more from Washington.
The High Court issued an emergency order Monday to give the justices more time to consider the issue after a federal three-judge panel stopped a federal rule Friday that allowed mifepristone to be prescribed through telemedicine and then delivered by mail. That ruling's now been paused until at least May 11th. Use of the drugs become more widespread since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. I'm Scott Carr in Washington.
I'm Logan Page, and that's happening in your news now on WVON 1690 AM.
In June, Chicago will make history. It's the opening of the Obama Presidential Center. It's our center, our story, in our city. We're WVON.
At WVON, we believe your health is your wealth. That's why in May and June, we're putting wellness front and center because too many of us are putting ourselves last. From heart health to mental wellness, prevention to daily habits, it all counts. In May and June, we'll be sharing important information to help you live healthier lives because your health is more than personal. It's powerful. Join WVON in our commitment to stronger bodies, clearer minds, and a healthier community.
If you're a healthcare provider or have your own practice and want to reach tens of thousands of WVON motivated listeners, connect with us at info@wvon.com or call 773-247-6200 to invest in an outreach campaign during our health and wellness initiative. Let's do it together.
I've tried everything to stand out at work. Donuts, a company coffee blend, even dressed as the company mascot for Halloween.
There's an easier way, a ComEd facility assessment. Their engineer gave my company free insights and actions that saved us $732,000 on energy. Easy, right?
Learn how ComEd can help you save at ComEd.com/facility assessment. ComEd, powering lives. Savings will vary based on customers' usage and rate.
It's the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Ray.
Congressman Jonathan Jackson on the line.
I saw a meme that said America will come and get you. When it's about the oil, they bombed in Iran, they've got oil. They bombed in Iraq, they've got oil. They bombed in Libya, they've got oil. And now they bombed in Venezuela, they've got oil. And they even came after Diddy because he had oil.
Come on, Congressman.
What a great setup.
That was good. That was good.
It's the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Ray. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Oh, boy, have I got news for you. Everybody here tonight was boogie. Let me tell you, you are no exception to the rule. Get on up on the floor, 'cause we gonna boogie, you get hoogie till you just can't boogie no more. Boogie, boogie no more. You can't boogie no more. Boogie no more.
Hey, we're back. Don't forget, guys, to get over to Sid's Clothing and Hats, man. They're closing after 65 years. You know, we see black people all over the city of Chicago wearing these cool hats, Stetsons, Dobbs, etc. And a lot of you have gotten those hats from Sid's right there on Roosevelt and Jefferson. My man's going out of business. We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago, right? So he's already sold the building. He needs to clear out his inventory, man. So you are going to see some top line, high-end hats at prices you would never see them any other place, right? So right now he's just trying to make the number one priority of his is to get the inventory out of there. So you might be able to go over there and wheel and deal. Sid, not Sid, because his son is running it now. But I'm sure if you called him Sid, he wouldn't mind because his father built an incredible business over there. Hey, man, look, I'm going to buy 3 hats for you. How much? That's probably what's going on over there right now because he's got to get rid of merchandise. So get over there. 609 West Roosevelt or call 312-421-3332. Get over there and get you a deal, man. Summertime is rolling around, brothers. Y'all want some of those Panamas or looking slick and cool while you're sitting outside having a drink? You want to be a South Side player or a West Side player? You are a player. Get you a hat that's going to make you look like the player you are, my brothers and sisters. Sister Karen, my sister, I hear you. I think you're a little offended that we're suggesting that theft is the reason why these stores close. Okay, so let me change it up so it's not a black thing. Wherever stores close, right, they're closing for usually one main reason: they're not making money, right? Businesses don't go out of business or close down when they're making money, right? Unless it's something major, death, the owner dies and the children don't want to continue the business. I mean, we've seen that happen before. Usually why stores close is because rent goes up, like what she was saying about 51st, the Marshalls over there. See, Marshall's not a freestanding store. They are renting from somebody else that owns that building. Rent is too high. And when they factor in their rent and compare it with what their receipts are saying, they're not making enough money to keep the doors open, right? Theft could be one of the factors why they're not making enough money. Brother Charles said tariffs, changing shopping patterns. People are buying online now. One of those reasons by themselves might not be enough. Put them all together and you're closing your store. And that's probably what's going on with Walgreens, as Charles said. Not just theft, tariffs, online shopping. You can go to Costco, Sam's, these big box stores and buy products for cheap. Walgreens is going to be higher because they are down the street. They're coming to you. A big box store is going to be cheaper because you have to go to them. How many Costco's are in the Chicagoland area or Sam's compared to Walgreens? The reality might be the Walgreens business model may be old. That might be a done deal because of the Costco's and the Sam's of the world. The Costco's and the Sam's and Amazon are probably putting Walgreens out of business. Hey, check this out. We know this. Stores factor in theft. They factor in theft. And they pass that expense along to the consumer. So they know, every store knows there's going to be some theft. They add that expense into whatever the products that they're selling. Under normal circumstances, stores may be able to survive theft, right? But with these, and then Brother Charles, now sister, this is the reality of it too. With the Safety Act and what we like these cats knowing that they're going to get let out if they don't steal over $1,000, that created a problem for stores like Walgreens. You walk into a store and you see everything locked up, they got a theft problem. That's not me saying it. That's the store saying it. The store is letting you know they have a theft problem. Guess what? They've got products locked up at the Walgreens on State and Roosevelt. So downtown, where white people live in high rises and people, they've got a theft problem too. So no matter what neighborhood you're in, you walk in a store and everything's locked up, they got a theft problem. If I go to and I don't know if any of you guys ever go to a Walgreens in Lincoln Park, I don't know whether or not products are locked up in Lincoln Park or not, because I don't go to Walgreens in Lincoln. I don't even really go to Walgreens, y'all. But if you go to a Walgreens in Lincoln Park or Rogers Park or any white neighborhood and they got products locked up, they got a theft problem there. And I'm willing to say whoever lives in that neighborhood are the ones stealing it. If it's a white neighborhood, the white people are stealing. If it's a Mexican neighborhood, the Mexicans are stealing. Theft is not unique to black people. I'm not suggesting that at all, my sister. 591-1690. And see, here, you know, when you say they don't say that's the reason why, we don't know because we're not listening to their radio stations, right? We're listening to black radio. We're listening to WVON. 591-1690. So that's just one of the realities. All right, let's grab a quick phone call here before I got to break it because I went so long on that last break. I guess I'm sure everybody's upset with me, but I think I'm trying to figure out who's Susan. Real quick though, Susan, give me a minute of what you got, sister.
Ooh, I'm not quick, but I'll give you a quick piece.
Go ahead.
Okay, quick piece. Yeah, you're right. What's that? North Michigan Avenue and Chicago Avenue down by Water Tower. That's all locked up down there. And I can't remember last time when I was in Lincoln Park if stuff was locked up. But yeah, I don't go to Walgreens a lot either, really, because them and Walgreens are overpriced unless I'm getting a sale. You're right. Theft is a cost of doing business. You got to think about shrinkage. Shrinkage is basically employees stealing from the business. So all that's factored in. I think that what she was saying is true in terms of the real estate piece. 90% of Americans can't afford their car payments. We got a problem. We got a big problem right now. And if we have a problem, the stores have a problem because that means that we can't afford to support them. But I did want to say something about the high blood pressure.
All right, hold on. I'll let you come back and say that. It's 1:47. You're listening to the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
One phone call, that's all it takes to get started. If you or someone you know has a cannabis record holding you back, New Leaf, Illinois can help you clear it for free. Real help from a state-funded program built for you. A clean record means better jobs, better housing, and a better shot at the life you deserve. Make the call, 872-NEW-LEAF, or visit newleafillinois.org today. New Leaf, Illinois. One call can really change everything.
It's D.L. Hughley.
Nick Cannon's logic is as weak as his program. Everybody fucking knew that Republicans freed the slaves. Everybody knew it. The last time he did something for black people was 163 years ago. You got to update your resume. Have a 5-year gap on your resume and see if it's valid. When Republicans did that, Hawaii wasn't a state. If you're going to talk about the greatest of a policy that helped black people out, it should at least be sometime after the fucking moon landing.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Hey, it's Cleopatra Draper. Join me for the Midday Show weekdays at 9 a.m., where we'll sip and spill all the tea. Do you want it hot or cold? Either way, we're serving up the flavor of the day. Weekdays at 9 a.m. right here on the station giving you what's now and what's next. 1690 WVON.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back. So, guys, there is a Met Gala controversy going on. I don't know all the details, but I'm going to try to get Tyra on in the 2 o'clock hour to talk about it. You know, the Met Gala is like the biggest party of the year in New York. Everybody wants to be there and dress up and show off. This year, some of the regulars that like to go there aren't going. And it's for a good reason, I assume. I don't know the reason, so I'm going to try to find out what that reason is so we can discuss it on the show. 591-1690, talking about Walgreens closing, talking about what is happening down in Louisiana with our brother Calvin Duncan, and whether or not Essence Fest will be boycotted, which is a big story, no doubt about it. What else? I had another topic. It was 3 things we were talking about. But anyway, I got phone calls, people, and Susan is back on. So here's the thing. When you look at a store, look, a developer or a landlord going up on a business's rent is always a big factor into why a business goes out of will close down a location. Always. Usually, though, if that business is making money, they'll absorb that hit and keep on going. If they're not making money, then they're going to close down. I'm sure there's some theft going on at that Marshall's on 51st and Lake Park, but maybe not enough by itself to make them close down. But if the landlord is raising rent, then that'd be a reason. In fact, this happens more than people realize. Sometimes the person that owns the building just wants your business out, and they'll raise the rent so high that they know you're not going to agree to it just to get you to leave. I know that happened in particular to a restaurant that I used to love going to when I was working down at the Sheraton Hotel. There's a bar and grill, a restaurant that you guys all know. It was right on the corner in River North. The owner of the building saw how successful the restaurant was and decided he wanted to open up his own version of that restaurant and have one of his relatives run it. So what did he do? He tripled the rent, knowing that that restaurant was going to leave, and they did. It closed down for about 6 to 8 months, and he opened up another restaurant in that location that was being run by him and his family members. That goes on all the time in Chicago real estate and commercial real estate. So if you are in a building that you do not own, then you are at the mercy of the building owner. They can raise, and when your lease is up, most restaurants and places like Marshall's, they usually have a 7-year lease. When that 7-year lease is up, then the owner of the building can do basically what he wants. He's going to put a new lease out in front of you. And that new lease might not be palatable for the business owner, right? I would imagine every Walgreens in downtown Chicago has merchandise locked up. That would be my guess. So a better example probably would be to go into Lincoln Park or one of these areas, Lincoln Park in particular, and see if they have the same problem up there. But for the record, because I don't want people to be upset, people that steal is more of socioeconomic than it is race. If you're poor, you go into poor neighborhoods. Go into a poor white neighborhood, I'm sure they are stealing. Go into a poor black neighborhood, I'm sure they are stealing. So it'd be interesting to see have they closed Walgreens in poor white neighborhoods. That would be the study. Susan, you wanted to say something about blood pressure, or did we drop Susan? All right, I think we dropped Susan. All right. Sorry, I'm not in the studio, Susan. Let's go to Mona. Mona, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Wonderful.
Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of historical context to it. So you remember back in the 80s and the 90s when people was on public assistance, they got some cash assistance? Remember that? I forgot what we used to call it.
Welfare.
I mean, they got cash assistance. So in 1996, the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Recreation Act of 1996 from Bill Clinton, he replaced the AFDC and ended federal entitlement to cash assistance, right? So that was 1996. So when he did that, people used to get between $50 and $200, and that money they used to receive from public assistance to be able to buy their laundry detergent, their toothpaste, their soap, the deodorant. And the only state that did not go with that law was Pennsylvania, right? And so when that law went into effect, the number of Walgreens and locking up all of their supplies was because people didn't have the extra cash. That's the first thing. That's the historical context. So then, if you know anything about pharmacy benefit managers, you know anything about that, Matt?
No.
Okay, so Walgreens has been suffering because the pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies brought in these pharmacy benefit managers, right? So the pharmacy benefit managers were supposed to come in and basically help lower the cost, right? But the pharmacy benefit manager didn't do that, cost of prescription. So then the pharmacy benefit manager, because I'm not a pharmacist, I got tons of friends that are pharmacy benefit managers. They make They make buku money, lots of money. And so they pass the price on the pharmacy prescription to the employer, and the employer was fighting back. So then they try to pass it on to those retail pharmacies. Walgreens could not survive with the little money that they had, because what make Walgreens make money is the pharmacy,
right?
Not all other stuff that's in there. So Walgreens had to close down because of pharmacy benefit managers. So that's the problem. You know what? Not because of theft, it was the pharmacy benefit managers.
Well, hold on. Because I'm sensing everybody's getting a little sensitive about the whole theft idea. All right.
I'm not getting.
Hold on. Let me finish. Right. If you guys remember when I first came on and we started talking about this, I said very plainly, I didn't even mention theft. I said, Walgreens is not going to leave if they're making money. I said, the reason why they are leaving is because they're not making money. In fact, I even said the pharmaceutical department is their money maker, right? Now, without implying the pharmaceutical benefit manager, like you so eloquently did, one of our callers pointed out that people are buying their prescription drugs online now more than ever. People are going to Costco has a pharmacy, Sam's has a pharmacy, Walmart has a Target has got CVS up in there. That there are other stores that are offering pharmacies. Walgreens used to be that spot on its own, man. They were the ones that brought drugs. That's why it was called a drugstore. They brought drugs to your neighborhood. Now people have more options than ever to buy their prescription drugs, right? And so our caller Charles kind of explained these other, but then Charles also said, which I jumped on his bandwagon and say, brother, I agree with that 100%. He said tariffs, which some of the tariffs may be on pharmaceutical products. And he said the Safety Act, which probably increased theft, because as we all know, we talked about this until we were blue in the face, people were stealing things right up to $999 because if you're not stealing over $1,000, they let you go, right? You're not being prosecuted. So that element added probably just enough to the theft bottom line, combined with what you're talking about, pharmacy benefit manager and tariffs and everything else, that the combination of those factors were probably the reason why Walgreens and other stores in our neighborhood have probably closed. Theft is a factor, but maybe not the factor. That's all I'm saying. I'll let you respond to that. And Susan's coming back as well when we return. Don't hang up on our sister, because we're at the 2:00 hour and I got a break right now, my sister. I forgot your name already. Mona. Don't go anywhere, Mona. We'll be right back after this.
Happy Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Brookfield Zoo workers strike amid contract dispute. Hazmat spill shuts down Eden's expressway ramp. Thousands of Spirit Airlines employees scrambling to find work. And 2026 Met Gala takes place tonight in New York City. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station. 1690 AM, WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
BIN News Now.
U.S. Central Command is denying reports of a missile strike on a Navy ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Here's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
In the U.S., we are just firing if fired upon. We are not the provocateurs here. But if the Iranians want to escalate here, we are willing to escalate.
Iranian state media claimed an attack, but the U.S. says it never happened. Former Vice President Kamala Harris has endorsed Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass in her bid for re-election. Harris praised
more from Atiba Buchanan.
Public safety and homelessness, giving Bass a major boost ahead of a closely watched mayoral race. And the Orlando Magic have fired head coach Jamal Mosley after 5 seasons. The move comes after a Game 7 playoff loss to the Pistons. Mosley led Orlando to 3 straight playoff appearances, and team president Jeff Weltman will now lead the coaching search. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Doug Davis.
All right. Thanks and happy Monday. Fair Fight founder Stacey Abrams is sounding the alarm over what she sees as a fast-moving Republican effort to redraw congressional maps to dismantle black representation and the Democratic Party, which is making major gains headed toward the midterm elections. She spoke about it all on MS Now over the weekend.
Our power was working. We had laws across this country that allowed black and brown citizens to be fully realized as members of this society. We were on the way to a multiracial, pluralistic democracy.
Abrams went on to say that Republicans are angry about that.
And what they understand that we sometimes forget is that power is never completely won or lost. It is a tug of war, and we were tugging too hard. And that is why we've seen this vicious and fast, lightning fast stripping of our power, but they've been at it for years.
She points to the Supreme Court's Louisiana ruling as a spark for this new wave of map changes. Alabama, Tennessee, and South Carolina, all red states, are aiming to redraw congressional maps in an effort to keep power in the House and Senate. Meanwhile, South Carolina's lieutenant governor is standing firm as a dispute with the state's only public HBCU escalates. South Carolina Governor Pamela Yvette says she's not backing down after being uninvited to speak at South Carolina State University's May 8th commencement ceremony. The school's president dialed back the invite, citing safety concerns after students protested that her extreme right-wing political views don't reflect SC State's values. Yvette, who's running for governor, held a virtual call with her staff to talk about it.
What's happening there is what we've seen happen across the country. It's college professors indoctrinating students with everything but the fact. And, trying to silence voices or alternate opinions on campuses is just not right. It's a threat to our democracy. And, we saw this with Charlie Kirk.
Before the decision to uninvite Yvette, she had publicly referred to the student protesters as a woke mob. She says she will not apologize for that comment and continues to call for further dialogue. Since the pullback, 9 Republican representatives are now calling for the university's funding to be pulled from the next draft of the state budget. And finally, former New England Patriots star receiver, African-American Stephon Diggs, is headed to trial on assault charges connected to an incident at his home. Diggs denies the charges and says the accusations are not supported by the facts. Prosecutors say the issue is over Diggs and his private chef over money she says is owed to her. The chef told prosecutors Diggs tried to choke her. Stay connected and subscribe and follow BIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Doug Davis for the Black Information Network. Have a great Monday. Stay safe out there. Keep your head on the swivel. If you see something, say something.
Mental health is health. If the weight feels heavy, talk to someone you trust or reach out for professional support. Healing is strength.
Your health, our community, for WVON.
Catch Reverend Al Sharpton online at WVON.com or on the WVON app. Just click the Al Sharpton banner. Tune in every day at 12 noon for your daily dose. And if you miss it, catch the overnight replay from midnight to 3 a.m. We're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on WVON 1690.
Reverend Al told you personally. Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
Ready to fire up your taste buds, Chicago? Black-owned Kodo Hibachi serves fresh, authentic hibachi and sushi, served with a smile. Grab takeout, order delivery, or dine in casual style. No flaming show, just flavor that steals the spotlight. And hey, tell them WVON is your favorite radio station and get 10% off your order. Visit them at 258 West 31st Street. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 8, Friday and Saturday till 9, Sundays till 7. And don't forget, tell them WVON is your favorite radio station and get 10% off your order. Kodo Hibachi, where flavor meets culture.
This is Kamini Khan, certified financial planner professional. For the past year, I've been on a mission to change lives and build wealth in our community. Together, we're changing the paradigm. This year, I'm back with a new series, Wealth Strategies, Money Talks. Join me every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on the Rufus Williams Show as we have thoughtful discussions around building wealth in our community. We'll discuss topics like investing, savings, tax strategies, retirement, and all things money. Yes, that's Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., so set those alarms. Also, be sure to check out the podcast at WVONWealthShow.com.
Komini Khan is a certified financial planner professional with Optimal Planning Partners in alliance with Equitable Advisors, LLC member SIPC in Oak Brook, Illinois. For more information, please call 630-575-5046.
Healthy lungs matter. Avoid smoking. Limit exposure to secondhand smoke and prioritize clean air whenever possible.
Your health, our community, for WVON.
The Chicago Blues Festival is more than a festival. It's a celebration of culture, rhythm, and legacy. We'll see you in Millennium Park June 4th through the 7th. We're WVON.
I'll play the blues.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to, WVON, Berlin, Chicago. It's Matt McGill on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
All right, we are back. 591-1690. I think we've been kicked off of Facebook Live, probably because of me letting the music play too long, and I apologize for that. Anyway, sorry. Let's get our people back up on Facebook Live. I'm sure they want to comment on everything we've been talking about, guys. I hope that happens shortly so that we can move